The video exploded across social media like a storm ripping through calm waters. In it, a frail old man shuffled along the rocky shore, his weathered hands trembling as he cast a handmade net into the shallow waves, pulling back nothing but seaweed and a single, gasping fish. Laughter echoed in the comments. Grandpa thinks he's still in the Stone Age. Pathetic, why doesn't he just retire and die already? But as the mockery spread, reaching millions overnight, no one knew that this 92-year-old fisherman, Elias Thorne, carried a lifetime of unspoken heroism that would soon shatter the internet's cold facade. Elias had lived his entire life in the forgotten coastal town of Harbor's End, where the sea was both provider and thief. Born in 1933 to a family of fishermen, he learned early that the ocean demanded respect, and in return, it might spare you. His father drowned when Elias was just 12, leaving him to support his mother and 3 siblings with whatever the tides offered. By 16, he was captaining a small boat, braving swells that swallowed stronger men whole. But life on the water wasn't just about survival, it was about the quiet dignity of persistence. Elias married young, to a woman named Clara, whose laugh could chase away the fog. Decades blurred into one another. Elias's hands grew calloused, his back bent from hauling nets heavy with salt and regret. Clara passed away 20 years ago from an illness that no doctor in their poor town could cure, leaving Elias alone with the whispers of the waves. His children moved to the city, chasing brighter lights, sending money when they could, but visiting rarely. At 92, Elias still rose before dawn, his joints protesting like creaking hulls. To fish not for profit, for the sea barely yielded enough anymore but for the rhythm that kept his heart beating. It was on one such morning that a group of tourists, smartphones in hand, spotted him. They filmed his slow, deliberate movements, zooming in on his tattered clothes and the way he muttered to the fish as if they were old friends. "Look at this relic," one sneered into the camera. The video was uploaded with hashtags like "Old Man Fails" and "Fisherman Flop," and within hours, it went viral. The online world feasted on Elias's vulnerability. Memes sprouted like barnacles. His face photoshopped onto dinosaurs, captions reading, "When you refuse to evolve." Influencers dissected his technique, calling it outdated, inefficient. In 2025, who fishes like that? Get with the times, boomer, one popular vlogger ranted, amassing likes by the thousands. Elias, oblivious to the digital storm, continued his routine. He had no smartphone, no computer, just a rusty radio that played faded tunes from his youth. It was his neighbor, Mrs. Hargrove, a widow in her 70s who dabbled in the internet for her grandchildren, who first told him, "Elias, they're laughing at you online," she said softly over tea, showing him the video on her tablet. His eyes, clouded with age, widened slightly. "Why would they do that?" he asked, his voice a gravelly whisper. "I'm just fishing." As the mockery intensified, something unexpected began to stir. A few commenters paused amid the ridicule. "Wait, isn't that the guy from Harbor's End? I think he saved my uncle back in the 70s. Whispers of Elias's past trickled in, like drops before a downpour. It started with a local historian's post. "This poor fisherman is Elias Thorne, who risked his life during the Great Storm of 1958. The story unfolded in fragments. That year, a hurricane ravaged the coast, capsizing boats and stranding sailors. Elias, then 25, ventured out in his tiny vessel when no one else would, pulling 7 men from the churning depths. He lost his own boat in the process, nearly his life, but saved those souls. He didn't do it for glory," the post read. "He did it because it was right." The tide began to turn. Shares shifted from mockery to curiosity. Journalists from nearby cities descended on Harbor's End, their cameras flashing like distant lightning. Elias, bewildered by the attention, sat on his porch, staring at the sea. "I don't understand," he told a reporter, his hands folded in his lap. "All I ever did was live." But as interviews aired, more layers peeled back. During World War II, as a young teen, Elias had smuggled food to Allied pilots hiding in the coves, evading patrols at night. In the 1980s, when a factory poisoned the waters, killing fish and livelihoods, Elias led a quiet protest, chaining himself to the docks until regulations changed. He never sought recognition. Humility was his anchor. Yet the online venom persisted in pockets. Troll accounts doubled down. Hero? More like zero. Still poor at 92 must ve been dumb choices. Elias felt the sting indirectly through the pitying looks of townsfolk. His granddaughter, Lily, whom he hadn't seen in years, saw the video while scrolling in her urban apartment. At 28, she was a social media manager, immersed in the very world that mocked her grandfather. Guilt gnawed at her. She'd promised to visit, but let life pull her away. "Grandpa," she texted her mother. "Is he okay?" The response, "He's the same as always. Strong, but alone." As the story gained traction, a twist emerged from the shadows. An anonymous user posted a thread. "I know Elias Thorne. He saved my life, but not from the sea." The poster revealed herself as Dr. Amelia Voss, a renowned oceanographer. In 1995, as a struggling student interning in Harbor's End, Amelia had fallen into depression after losing her parents in a car accident. Elias, noticing her wandering the beach aimlessly, invited her to fish with him. "The sea doesn't judge," he'd said. Over months, his stories of loss and endurance pulled her from the brink. "He taught me resilience without a single lecture," she wrote. "I owe my career and my Lafido that poor fisherman." Amelia's post went viral, her credentials lending weight. Suddenly, celebrities shared it. Donations poured in for Elias's retirement fund. Elias watched the chaos from afar, his routine unbroken. One evening, as the sun dipped low, he sat by the water, net in hand. "Clara," he whispered to the wind, "what would you make of this?" The sea answered with a gentle lap, as if reassuring him. But deep down, Elias wondered if the world truly saw Heimer just the spectacle. The donations arrived in waves. Checks, packages, even a new boat offered by a tech mogul. Elias accepted little, donating most to the town's orphanage. "I've got what I need," he'd say. But the attention unearthed old wounds. Memories of Clara's final days flooded back, how he'd fished extra hours to afford her medicine, only to watch her fade. "I failed her," he confided to Mrs. Hargrove one night. "No, Elias," she replied. "You loved her. That's victory enough." As weeks passed, the story evolved into a movement. Hashtags like Honor Elias trended, with users sharing tales of unsung heroes in their lives. Elias's video, once a source of scorn, became a symbol of endurance. Yet amid the praise, doubt crept in. Was this redemption, or just fleeting fame? One afternoon, Lily arrived unannounced, her car kicking up dust on the gravel road. "Grandpa," she called, running to embrace him. Tears streamed as she apologized for her absence. "I saw what they did to you online. I'm so sorry." Elias held her close, his frail arms surprisingly strong. "Child, the sea's thrown worse at me." That night, they talked by the fire, Lily learning of his sacrifices, the lives saved, the quiet acts of kindness. "Why didn't you tell us?" she asked. "Some stories are for the telling when they're needed," he replied. But the twist deepened with Amelia's arrival. The oceanographer, now in her 50s, drove into town, her eyes lighting up at the sight of Elias. "You remember me?" she asked. He nodded, a smile cracking his lined face. "The girl who talked to the waves." Amelia revealed she'd been funding marine conservation in his name for years, anonymously. "Your lessons saved more than Methy saved the ocean." Together, they walked the shore, Amelia sharing how Elias's wisdom inspired her research on sustainable fishing. The online world watched, hearts thawing. Comments shifted. "I was wrong. This man is a legend." "Crying reminds me of my own grandpa." Elias's story wasn't just about mockery overcome. It was a reminder that behind every failure lies a tapestry of humanity. Yet Elias remained grounded. "Fame's like a big catch," he told Lily. "Looks good, but it's the small ones that sustain you." As the sun set, he cast his net once more, the sea eternal. With Lily's help, Elias tentatively entered the digital age. She set up a simple profile for him, not to chase likes, but to share his wisdom. "Grandpa, the world wants to hear from you," she insisted. His first post, a photo of the sunrise over the harbor, captioned, "The sea teaches patience," garnered thousands of responses. People from across the globe wrote in, fishermen in Japan sharing techniques, widows in Ireland offering solidarity. Elias dictated replies to Lily, his voice steady. "Tell them, life's not about the storm, but how you sail through it." Amelia stayed in town, collaborating with locals on a documentary about Elias's life. This isn't just your story, she told him. It's about forgotten heroes everywhere. As filming began, more revelations surfaced. During the shoot, an old shipmate, now 85 and living in a nursing home, contacted them. Elias pulled me from the water in '58. He recounted on camera, tears in his eyes. But he never mentioned the shark that circled us. He fought it off with his, or. The crew gasped, Elias shrugged. It was just hungry like us. The documentary snippets leaked online, amplifying the narrative. Viewers who once mocked now donated to coastal preservation funds in Elias's name. A young influencer, the same one who'd ranted against him, issued a public apology. I judged without knowing. Elias, you're the real deal. Elias watched the video with Lily, chuckling softly. Forgiveness is easy when the heart's open. But not all was smooth. The influx of visitors disrupted harbors and peace. Tourists clogged the beaches, snapping photos of Elias like her exhibit. One day, a rowdy group demanded he perform his fishing for their videos. Come on, old man, show us the fails, one yelled. Elias's face hardened, memories of ridicule flashing back. Lily intervened, but the incident shook him. Maybe I should have stayed invisible, he murmured that night. Enter another unexpected figure, Marcus, Elias's long-lost son. At 65, Marcus had abandoned the sea life young, resenting its hardships, and moved to the city where he built a successful business. He'd seen the viral video but ignored a Tuntel Amelia's thread mentioned Elias's quiet support during Marcus's rebellious teens. Dad loaned me money for college, even when we fought, Marcus admitted to himself. Guilt propelled him home after decades. Arriving unannounced, Marcus found Elias mending nets. Dad, he said, voice breaking. Elias looked up, eyes misty. Son. Their reunion was raw years of unspoken pain surfacing. Marcus confessed his regrets. I left because I couldn't be like you, strong, selfless. Elias placed a hand on his shoulder. You didn't have to be. Just be you. That night, the family Lily, Marcus, and Elias shared a meal, laughter mingling with tears. Marcus revealed he'd been battling illness, mirroring Clara's fate. I came back too late, he whispered. Elias shook his head. Never too late for the tide to turn. As the documentary progressed, this family dynamic added depth. Viewers saw not just the hero, but the man flawed, forgiving. A twist came when Marcus uncovered old letters Clara had written to him secretly, urging reconciliation. Your father loves you more than the sea, one read. Marcus broke down, vowing to stay and help with the fishing. Online, the story inspired global acts of kindness. Schools taught about Elias in lessons on empathy. Charities named programs after him. Yet Elias remained humble. I'm no saint, he told Amelia. Just a man who kept going. One stormy evening, as winds howled, Elias insisted on checking the docks. The sea calls, he said. Marcus joined him, their bond strengthening in the rain. They secured boats, Elias sharing tales of past gales. Life's like this storm fierce, but it passes. The documentary premiered online, viewed by millions. Elias watched with his family, overwhelmed. All this from one video, he marveled. Messages flooded in. You melted my heart. Thank you for reminding us of true strength. But Elias's health began to falter. Years on the water caught up. His hands shook more, breaths came shorter. Lily noticed first. Grandpa, rest. He smiled. I've rested enough in my dreams. Amelia organized a community event, a Heroes Tide festival, honoring Elias. Townsfolk gathered, sharing stories. A young boy approached. I want to be a fisherman like you. Elias knelt. Be kind like the sea, give back what you take. As the event unfolded, Marcus announced he'd fund a local museum on coastal history, with Elias as centerpiece. To keep your legacy alive, he said. Elias nodded, tears glistening. Yet in quiet moments, Elias pondered mortality. When I'm gone, will they remember? He asked Lily. Always, she promised. The online world evolved too. The original mockers became advocates, starting campaigns against cyberbullying. Elias taught us humanity, one posted. As winter approached, Elias sat by the fire, family around him. This mockery brought you all back, he said softly. A blessing in disguise. Winter gripped Harbor's End, blanketing the town in frost that mirrored Elias's waning strength. Mornings found him slower, his once steady gait now a shuffle aided by a cane Marcus carved from driftwood. Yet his spirit burned bright, drawing people like moths to a lighthouse. The festival's success spawned invitations, podcasts, interviews, even a book deal. Elias declined most. "My story's in the waves," he'd say. But one request touched him. A school group from the city wanted to visit, to learn real history. The children arrived on a crisp day, wide-eyed at the sea's vastness. Elias greeted them on the beach, his voice carrying over the wind. "The ocean's full of secrets," he began, weaving tales of storms and saves. A girl asked, "Weren't you scared?" He chuckled. "Fear's part of it. Courage is facing it anyway." The kids hung on every word, sketching nets and boats. One boy, shy and bespectacled, lingered. "My grandpa died last year," he whispered. "He was like you, quiet hero." Elias placed a weathered hand on his shoulder. "Then he's still here in you." Amelia captured the moment for the documentary's epilogue, her camera lingering on Elias's kind eyes. Post-production wrapped, and the full film debuted to acclaim. Reviews praised its raw emotion, a testament to unsung lives. Awards nominations followed, but Elias cared little. "Fancy words don't fill the net," he quipped. Family time became precious. Lily moved back temporarily, helping with daily tasks. Marcus, his illness in remission thanks to early detection spurred by the reunion, took over fishing duties. "Let me carry the load, Dad." Elias watched from the porch, pride swelling. Evenings brought stories, Elias recounting Clara's recipes, Marcus sharing city adventures, Lily bridging generations with photos. A subtle twist emerged from Elias's past, an old journal, discovered by Lily in the attic. Yellowed pages revealed poems Elias wrote for Clara, verses of love and loss. "I didn't know you were a poet, Grandpa," Lily exclaimed. He blushed. "Just words for the heart." Amelia suggested publishing them. Elias agreed. Proceeds to charity. The book, Waves of the Soul, became a sleeper hit, readers finding solace in its simplicity. "These poems melted my defenses," one review read. As spring thawed the ice, Elias's health declined sharply. A cough turned to pneumonia, hospital visits frequent. Doctors marveled at his resilience. "He's a fighter," they said. Family rallied. Amelia read to him. Marcus cooked his favorites. Lily held his hand. "Don't fuss," Elias protested weakly. But in private, he confided fears. "I don't want to leave you all again." Online, supporters sent well wishes. A viral challenge. Share your Elias moment, stories of personal heroes. Thousands participated, from janitors to CEOs. "My mom worked 3 jobs silently," one posted. The movement highlighted the value of everyday endurance, countering a culture of instant fame. One night, as stars pierced the sky, Elias gathered his family. "Listen," he said, voice faint. "Life's not about being seen, it's about seeing others." The mockery? It showed me love I forgot. Tears flowed. Hugs lingered. Recovery seemed possible, but a setback came. Elias slipped into delirium, murmuring Clara's name. Amelia suggested a beach visit, weather permitting. Bundled in blankets, they wheeled him to the shore. The sea greeted him like an old friend, waves whispering secrets. "She's waiting," Elias smiled. Miraculously, the outing revived him slightly. Back home, he dictated a final message for social media. "Thank you for melting hearts. Remember, kindness is the truest catch." Posted by Lily, it garnered millions of views, responses pouring in like high tide. But time ebbed. On a quiet dawn, Elias passed peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. The town mourned, the world paused. Obituaries hailed him, from mocked to beloved. The funeral drew crowds, fishermen, celebrities, strangers touched by his story. In the aftermath, legacy bloomed. Marcus expanded the museum. Lily founded a foundation for elderly support. Amelia's documentary won awards, donating prizes to conservation. The online video that started it all was reframed as a catalyst for change. Years later, on Harbor's End's beach, a statue stood, Elias casting his net, inscription reading, "He melted even the coldest hearts." Visitors reflected, inspired to honor the unsung. The sea rolled on, eternal witness to humanity's depths. Though Elias was gone, his ripple extended far beyond the grave. The foundation Lily established, thorns tied, grew into a national network aiding isolated elders. Volunteers shared stories online, echoing Elias's journey. Mockery turned to meaning. Marcus, now leading fishing tours infused with his father's wisdom, found purpose. Dad taught me the sea's lessons are life's, he'd tell groups, eyes glistening. Amelia's career soared. She dedicated her next book to Elias, blending science with his poetry. He showed me the human side of the ocean, she wrote. Readings drew crowds, each poem evoking tears and resolve. A year after his passing, Harbor's End hosted an annual Elias Day, celebrating resilience. Families gathered, sharing picnics and tales. Children fished with handmade nets, learning patience. One girl, the same who visited before, read a poem she'd written. Old Man by the Sea, you caught hearts, not just fish. Online, the movement endured. Hashtags persisted, cyberbullying awareness spiked. Schools incorporated Elias's story into curricula, teaching empathy in a digital age. From viral shame to viral grace, educators called it. Unexpectedly, a Hollywood producer approached for a biopic. Lily hesitated. Grandpa hated spotlight, but agreed if it stayed true. The film, starring a veteran actor, captured Elias's essence: quiet strength, profound impact. Premiering to acclaim, it won Oscars, proceeds fueling the foundation. Marcus uncovered more twists, letters from saved sailors' descendants, thanking Elias posthumously. One family donated a boat, christened Clara's Whisper. Sailing it, Marcus felt his father's presence. Lily, now a mother, named her son Elias Jr. to carry the name forward, she said. The boy, at 5, loved the beach, asking, was Grandpa a superhero? Better, Lily replied. He was human. Amelia faced her own challenge, funding cuts for research. Inspired by Elias, she crowdfunded, sharing his story. Donations surged, projects saved. His legacy lives in every wave protected, she told supporters. Decades passed. Harbor's End thrived as a heritage site, the statue a pilgrimage spot. Visitors left nets, notes. You melted my heart. The original video, now archived, served as a cautionary tale. In quiet moments, family reflected. That mockery was a gift, Marcus said at a reunion. It brought us together. Lily nodded, and showed the world true value. Elias's poems endured, printed in anthologies. One line resonated. In the depths of scorn, find the pearl of soul. The sea, unchanging, whispered agreement. Humanity's coldest hearts, once melted, stayed warm.